I didn't think I was ever going to say it, but I think it's time for a celebratory drink. So let's clink it and sink it.
Sink our pints. And that's not a pint. They should have shattered, dude.
Yeah, man. They should have, one. And two, that feels good. Not just because it's stop pimping, not being sponsored by fucking Heineken ever.
I'm just hoping they would send us some.
Yeah, that would be nice. But yeah, it's nice to actually sit back and enjoy an entire Raw where even the low points, which were few, were enjoyable. I didn't think this was ever going to happen, man.
It's the one good thing that came out of Fighter Fest.
Yes. Now, I know everybody's sucking Fighter Fest's balls, and we were rooting for it, trust me, especially after Double or Nothing, which was awesome. But Fighter Fest, we're not going to fucking try to, pretty it up and gussy it up and blow it. It fucking kind of sucked.
It wasn't good.
Now, at least it wasn't boring.
Yeah.
That's that. And, we hope that the next one's, way better because that one was a stinker. But there's one thing that came out of it, and that's that everybody did blow it. So that only scared WWE more. And we saw recently that Vinnie Mac said, you know what, I'm going to put Paul Heyman in charge of Raw and Bischoff in charge of SmackDown. And I thought it was bullshit at first. But if this started already, it showed immediately. And I like it. I like what fear is doing to them. It's making them go, you know what, we got to do shit.
It doesn't suck.
If this was Heyman's first stroke, it was a good one, man.
Yeah, you want to see it to completion.
Oh, definitely. Let's talk about that Raw. Look, man, it all started... I shouldn't have drank it that way. But it all started with a big bang, literally, as we had Braun and Bobby Lashley clash at last. Let's stop doing these stupid fucking tug-of-wars and all that nonsense. They just came out and fucked each other up for a while, which is cool. That's what these two big brutes should be doing to each other if you're going to put them in a program against each other. And that's what they did, man. And it was a false count anywhere, and immediately they're in the audience. They're all over the place. Entertaining start. No bullshit. Let's just get to something happening. Yes. Cool, man. And even though there's nothing special about what was going on, it was fucking fun. It was not like, oh my God, I have to sit. I tug of war or some nonsense or some promo that sucks. No, it was just fun. It was different, too. It was a different start to what we were being used to. It all concluded with Braun ramrodding, spearing, tossing, manhandling. I guess it was a woman handling, according to Corey Graves. Just ramming fucking Bobby through the LED entrance boards. And, it was rigged up to look like this big explosion, electricity and stuff. And they made a big stink about it being dangerous and stuff. And you know what? With the way everything was played out afterwards, they managed to draw that line of between, they managed to blur the line between reality and fiction, which is what you want. You want to make people go, whoa, did somebody actually get hurt? Did they not? Most likely not, but they were playing it up.
Yeah.
Which is good. That's what you want. They even threw in, now Corey Graves said he got fined for this, according to what you tell me.
Supposedly.
He exclaimed, holy shit, when this happened. And it was very clearly not, something that he expressed out of surprise.
It came out, holy shit.
It just
Corey
sounded,
Graves.
It sounded like a fake reaction. But just that something new, something unexpected element was cool, man. I'm not saying abuse that, because then we have stupidity.
Yeah,
but
and we got unprotected chair shots.
Yeah, but
like that.
It was retarded. Just like an unprotected chair shot. And
shade
might lead to we're not throwing shade at fucking Cody really, but come on, bro. Don't be taking unprotected chair shots. Anyway, whatever the fuck. We're getting off topic here. The point is, seeing something unexpected is good.
Yeah.
Or hearing it in this case. So that was cool, man. It elicited a response of thank you, Heyman, which I guess everybody was thinking, is this Heyman's first round? Is it? If it is, cool, man.
Even if it's not, they did a good job of making it seem like it is.
Which is what you want. That's something WWE always fucks up. Oh, man, we're going to oil you up for something, but then they don't deliver. Here they delivered something that was interesting. So that's cool, man. I will say that after they were, quote, injured, the medics coming in and clearing up the scene and all that took a little too long. But again, it kind of led that air of veracity, so that was cool in the end. The next up was a New Day versus Viking Warriors. This was just a straight match, come out of nowhere. I thought initially it's to give the Viking Warriors more of a push against an actually legitimate and threatening and capable team. But as it turns out, Joe came out and attacked the New Day in his continued bid against Kofi, and Kofi came out to assist, and this all turned into all three members of the New Day versus the Viking Warriors and Joe, thus kind of cementing the Viking Warriors finally as something. Up to this point, they were just kind of bruisers taking on anybody. Now they're kind of heels, I guess. And they worked really well with Joe because they're kind of the same idea. Big, mean, nasty badasses.
Fat guy. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, fat guys too, which we appreciate. It all ended with Joe taking the win over Kofi with a clutch, which is cool. Hey, look at that. Let the bad guy be menacing. That's different. I liked it. It was a good match. It was a good result. It gave you a reason to give a shit about Kofi winning. I liked it. It was good, man. It was good. Next up, we had Drake Maverick's continued obsession, apparently, with the fucking 24/7 belt backstage. He says he's going to bring his wife on a honeymoon, but really he brought her to Raw. And she kind of gives him a deadline. Look, man, I almost left you once. This is it. If you don't give this up, I'm done. And he promises that he's done with it. They're just going to go on their honeymoon. But you could see that lust in his eyes, which we knew was going to pick up later. So that's pretty cool. I like that. Next up, we had the Good Brothers kind of tell AJ, hey, man. They're kind of how AJ poked at them.
Yeah.
They were now poking at him. Hey, man, you won against Ricochet, but it looks like you kind of just barely won. And now he's saying that, he could beat you. So they were kind of stoking the fires. Oh, AJ. Playing their own little game. I liked it, man. I like when the Good Brothers aren't fucking annoying turds like the WWE had turned them into.
Yeah.
They're actually up front. They're actually doing something. They seem smart. They seem clever. They're funny and they're amusing to watch. And they're playing AJ. So it was cool, man. I like that. Next up, we had No Way Jose come out with his little conga line.
He's a guy.
And he was going to go up against Cesaro. Okay, now Cesaro they're pushing as this big heel now, which is cool. And No Way Jose has gotten no action. So I was like, all right, this is going to be interesting. But it turns out, though, that at the end of the conga line, R-Truth was there. And this was all a 24/7 ploy, it seemed at first. And he does, man. He plays it up so well. R-Truth is fucking fantastic in this. I'm sold on it. R-Truth has saved this thing time and time again. He comes out and just kind of fucking gloats that he's taunting Drake Maverick, who's in the front row with his wife. Doing these, exaggerated thrusts with his 24/7 belt. It was funny, man. It was cool. He ended up getting chased out, and Cesaro didn't even wait for a bell or nothing. He just destroyed No Way Jose. So Cesaro ended up looking great as this heel that doesn't give a fuck. The 24/7 belt keeps going. Unfortunately, No Way Jose gets shafted, but hey, somebody's got to be enhancement talent.
It's a norm.
Yeah, and, give him some time to build him up, at least, because they've treated him like shit so far. So anyway, good. Next up, another good fucking point, and I got to drink to this one because...
Oh, that sound.
Who was it? It's the Street Profits making their debut. And look, boys, these guys got personality, and that speaks volumes. You know what I'm saying? They got personality, man. That's what this fucking thing needs. So when all these big, talented, charismatic fucks are always, silenced, that's not a good thing. And thankfully, they didn't silence these guys, and they let them run rampant.
They didn't go the way of EC3.
Yes.
#dead.
Look, these guys are just charismatic. They're funny. They're entertaining to watch. And they just made a good impression. The crowd was loving it. I was loving it. Of course, we already loved them to begin with. And look, when I first saw Street Profits, and I think this was the same with you, we were dubious.
Yeah,
because we'd seen like Crime Times and shit like that. We're like, come on, this is not going to be
corny.
bad, is it?
Yeah.
But they're so talented in the ring, and they got the skills for other things. So this was good, man. I loved it. That was nice to see somebody not get just thrown in the fucking dumpster heap. So next up,
EC3.
Yeah, poor EC3, man. Next up was Miz. He was going on about Elias and how he's a complete wiener. He's going to take him out, and just kind of saying that Undertaker's here, so Shane better watch out. Drew better watch out. But really, the whole time I was thinking Miz should be fighting Shane. What is this? But that was good. He did as best as he could with what he's got right now, so cool. Next up, however, we did have Shane and Drew, and they cut a promo, or rather, Shane cut a promo on Roman, basically saying he got saved by undies, and Drew was like, yo, I ain't afraid of no ghost, /undies. At this point, of course, undies comes out, lightning, thunder, the whole jigamabob. And look, I'm going to tell you straight up, I know I've been calling undies an old man, but every time that intro hits at the right moment, when it's the right moment, it's just a bone-chilling good time. And I'm damn sure he's determined to do something good after that bullshit at fucking, what was it called? I even forgot what it was called. The Saudi Arabian garbage. Yeah, he's probably determined to fucking change the perception of being an old man that can't do shit anymore. So I'm glad about that. He come out and cut this promo on them. Old school Taker, talking about taking their souls. Not even to rest in peace, though. He's just saying, you're all going to be suffering down there. It was good shit, man. Shane and Drew were showing fear. They ran away. They were in the crowd. It was good stuff. It was good stuff. Next up, we had, fucking shit. He had to be in here.
Yeah.
Baron fucking lame-ass Corbin. And he was with Lacey. I hate that they're partnering him up with my girl, but, you know, whatever, man. Whatever. I guess. I hate it. But anyway, whatever. He cuts this promo about, because they're going to have that mixed intergender, or not intergender, what do they call it? A mixed match. Mixed match. I wish it was intergender, but a mixed match between them and, of course, the first couple of wrestling, as they're being called now. And he's basically talking about, them being stupid for risking their titles on each other's talent, because if they lose, both of them lose their title, So I hate to say it, but it was he did okay with the promo. You know what I'm saying? He did okay with the promo. All right, Baron. It's not good, but he did okay because either he came up with a good promo or it was a good promo was written for him, and that's fine. And Lacey also kind of played up on that, and she's fine, and I mean that in every way. So, whatever. Just please, no more Baron. But whatever. Anyway, Lacey was up next, and she was going up against Natty. Look, she ended up winning, as she should have. Natty didn't get jobbed out, as she shouldn't. And this was all good because you got to build up Lacey a bit more for this other a shot she's got against Becky. And on top of that, it gives substance to somebody that was kind of rushed to the spotlight, which is much more than they did to somebody like Jinder Mahal, So this is good. And if she loses, she's still proving that she can do something between the ropes. So that's good. Unfortunately, during this time, they did refer to in the commentary to Corbin as a fucking lady killer.
Oh, no!
Thus confirming that Vince has the fucking hots for him or some shit.
It's true. It's damn true.
I hated it, man. That they think he's a lady killer, that he's a hot guy. Come on, man.
Kills him with his hideous face.
Anyway, whatever. It was good. Lacey versus Natty was good. It was what it should have been, I should say. So cool. Next up, we had the Good Brothers talking to Ricochet, basically telling him that he's in trouble because of things that that have been going on since their match between him and AJ. And they're basically, we're made to understand that the Good Brothers are kind of manipulating both sides, trying to instigate a battle, right?
They're playing both sides like Mac.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, man, this is pretty cool, man. They really go out there and play the fiddle for Ricochet. Then they turn around and do the same thing for AJ. Hey, Ricochet is saying this about you. So now both of them are kind of fucked up about it. And this ends up with AJ confronting Ricochet and basically saying, you really think you could fucking beat me or whatever, right? The old kind of heelish AJ coming up. And they proceed to slap the living shit out of each other to the point where I was like, whoa. I kind of had to replay it. I was like, damn, some hard-ass slaps.
We talking face slaps?
Yeah, face slaps, not butt slaps. The fuck
I wasn't thinking butt. I was thinking like chops or something.
Oh, slap. Oh, man. That's slapping each other's nalgas.
You're the one that assumes I was talking about nalgas and butts.
Anyway. So yeah, we're now ready. We're giving it basically that was going to be our main event set up. So that was super cool, man. Next up, we had Miz versus Elias. It was a surprisingly aggressive matchup between them. 2 out of 3 falls. Miz ends up taking the win. And, again, nothing, out of the ordinary or anything, but very entertaining. So I got to give it a good. Then we had Becky and Seth kind of speaking together, cutting a little promo together. They kind of were playing a comedic couple angle with each other. And you know what? It worked. I didn't feel awkward anymore. They were kind of poking at Seth for being impulsive. In the midst of all this, Maria Kanellis comes out and basically he is calling them out for daring, first of all, to call themselves the first couple of WWE, saying that she and her bitch are really where it's at, and they put forth a challenge, which led into that match between Bex and Seth and Maria and Mike Kanellis. So this was a pretty decent match. It gave Maria a lot to do, which, is unheard of. And she was basically forcing her husband to do things for her. Again, her bitch. And she played up that really well, man. She was very cowardly, aggressive towards her husband. And, of course, he lost to Seth. And, no, that's right. He lost to Becky. So Maria, that's not a bad thing. It was played well. Maria comes out and berates her husband and basically says that she's going to ask Becky to fucking impregnate her because she kind of cowarded out of her way out of the match.
Damn, I want to see that.
Yeah, it was pretty entertaining, man. She kind of backed out of the match or the confrontation with Becky by saying she was pregnant. And Mike Kanellis was like, "You're pregnant? How the fuck?" And she's like, "Yeah, how the fuck did you get me pregnant, loser?" It was pretty cool, man. I like that.
But how was but?
There was no Maria Kanellis butt to be seen, unfortunately. Yeah. But if there was, it would have been great. Speaking of great, Paul Heyman came out and he was going to do his normal Lesnar rant, which I was like, come on, not again. But in the midst of the rant, that's right, the Street Profits come in and make him feel incredibly awkward and he leaves. And they just play up the comedic angle again and it was top notch. I like it. Next up was possibly the only kind of like dip in quality in the whole thing. And it was a moment of bliss with Alexa. She had Nikki on because Nikki, of course, won her that championship shot again. Carmella comes out and basically calls Alexa out on letting Nikki do all the work when she can't. And so she challenges Alexa, and you know what? Immediately wins against Alexa. And I don't know how, this was kind of confusing, but when we came back from the break, it was Nikki versus Carmella. What? Why? I don't know, but Nikki wins over Carmella, and they're kind of giving Nikki that air of she's the deserving one. And she's just, the innocent being manipulated, and she just doesn't know. So that's cool. Conceptually, it's just the segment wasn't great. Yeah. It wasn't great.
Mild stinker.
It was still far better than
Fyter Fest.
Some other shit. But no, I wouldn't say that. But it was, it was the low moment of the whole show. But anyway, next up we had Drake leaving for his honeymoon. And, his wife's like, hey, I'll be back. This is done, right? Yeah, cool. We're going to go on a honeymoon. And he just happens to come across Truth, who's hiding. And he just takes advantage of it. He's like, fuck it, I can get a win right here. And he does get the win. So he's currently the champion. Unless that changes on SmackDown. So there we go, man. And then, of course, finally we had our main event, AJ versus Ricochet, part 2, if you will. Loaded with all this, kind of manipulation from the Good Brothers. AJ ended up picking up a win relatively fast with a forearm. The thing is, Ricochet's foot was under the rope, so they had to come out and restart it. And this was kind of weird because how often does a ref just ignore something like that? Yeah. Pretty often. Yet for some reason, another ref that's not even involved in the match comes out and tells the ref, hey, look at this, and he just takes his word for it. And they restart the match. I get what they were going for story-wise, but the fact that we hardly ever see that, if at all, kind of made it a little incredulous. But at least we got to restart the match. And it was a relatively short match nonetheless once we started. Ricochet did end up retaining. The Good Brothers were at ringside, and they seemed a little disappointed. AJ, however, showed respect for Ricochet, and all seemed good except when the Good Brothers came up on the ring, and Ricochet was kind of taking the defensive, and AJ was like, "No, chill out, man. You know, nothing's gonna happen here." But something did happen, and AJ proceeded to beat the fuck out of Ricochet, and then the Good Brothers joined in and ended with AJ celebrating his non-victory, really, his beatdown of Ricochet. That was the end. All in all, a pretty fantastic episode. Fire's under fucking WWE's ass, clearly. So hopefully it just keeps on getting better. Awesome, man. I loved it. I can't believe it. I can't believe him. Baron Corbin snuck out of that one without being fucking a turd.
He is a lady killer, though.
Anyway, tell us what you thought about this episode, man. I liked it. Go figure. It happened.
Yeah.
Anyway. That was your cue to fucking shut this episode down, and yet you just sat there. Anyway, hit like, share, subscribe with those notification buttons, because we are out.